Welcome back to The Graceful Life. I am really excited to share today's topic with you. And honestly, I feel like I say that every week, but these are some great tools that we are taking out of God's Word. We are seeing that what His Word says is true. We're seeing that what His Word says is wise and just to live better lives. So I really love coming on here and spending this time with you guys, and I really just feel like it's our time together. So I just want to say thank you for being here. Today we are talking all about setting boundaries in your relationships. Whenever you're dealing with people, and I don't want to call people toxic people, but when you're dealing with people who are maybe a little bit more needy than others, it is really important that we set some boundaries in our relationships. And really, it's for the sake of the relationship. So a lot of times people think that whenever they set boundaries, that it's just going to damage all of the relationships in their life, or it's going to damage the relationship that they are putting the boundary on. But I want to tell you that this will actually benefit your relationships. Your relationships will be better whenever you set boundaries. Not everyone needs 100% access to you 100% of the time. Not everyone needs to be able to have 100% access to you. So I'm going to leave a list of questions in the blog post, and I'll leave a link for you to check out. But these are a list of questions that you can ask yourself about the relationships in your life to see if this is a relationship that maybe you need to put some boundaries on. The first is, can I be completely myself around this person? Do I change my behavior in order to avoid disappointing this person or maybe angering this person? Do I work harder to deal with this person's problems than I do with my own problems? Do I let go of plans that I've made in order to appease the plans of this other person? Do I tiptoe around them because I'm afraid of what they might do or what they might say? Am I constantly trying to gain their approval? Can I be myself around this person, or can I feel relaxed around this person? I hope that when you listen to those questions that you were thinking of someone in particular, that you were thinking of a relationship. Because I found that even relationships that I enjoy with people that I love to spend time with, there were certain things that when I asked myself those questions, there were a couple red flags for me that I had to say, okay, it's okay if I don't do every single thing that this person wants of me. You just have to look at how much access that person has to your life and then determine the boundaries. So like I said, different people can have different access to your life. Not everyone needs 100% access to you all of the time. Now, there are certain people that they have 100% access to me. My parents have 100% access to me, my husband, my kids. They know that I will drop what I'm doing if they need me. One way that I can practically show this is by turning my phone off. Now, my phone has a setting that I can set do not disturb except for the people that are on my favorites list. I found that I wasn't using my favorites list as actually a speed dial, but it was a way to program my phone to say the people on this list have 100% access to me. So my phone will ring at any time if it is one of the people on my favorites list. If you are not on my favorites list, then between say 9 o'clock at night and 7 o'clock in the morning, my phone will not ring if it is someone that is not on my favorites list. I love this because I want my household to know that 100% of the time I am going to be there for them. Now, before I implemented this, I was doing something and my phone was on Do Not Disturb. Actually, I think I was recording and my phone was on Do Not Disturb and I missed a phone call, and it was an important phone call, and I really regretted that. And so once I set up my Do Not Disturb as this list of people, it really allowed me to keep my phone off more because I realized that the people who had 100% access to me still had that access. Another thing that this might not be right for everyone, but my husband and I have a business. We have a team that works with us. Our work team knows that they have access to us. If we go on a vacation, they can access us, they can call us, and we will answer. But before we leave, we give really clear expectations. And we say that if something can wait until we get back, then let it wait. If you can handle something, then handle it. If you can't, and it can't wait, then you are welcome to call us. And just knowing that they have that access to us helps them to be more confident while we're gone, but it also helps us because they're not calling all the time. I think the last time that we took like a 10-day vacation, we probably had 2 or 3 calls in that week, and they were all calls that we were able to quickly answer. Maybe it was a password that they needed or something like that, and it was urgent. And that helps them to have more confidence that they have access to us. Now, like I said, that might not be for everyone, and it might be that whenever you go on vacation, that no one has access to you except the people who are on vacation with you. That might be what works for you, but for us, as the leaders of our business, we felt that we wanted to be able to do that for them. So I wanted to give a couple examples about setting boundaries and what it looks like in real life. So we talked about the phone, we talked about work, but what about that family member that anytime that you share a dream with them, or you are sharing something that God has put on your heart, and it just seems like they're always negative about it. Maybe they always are shooting you down, or they're always giving all the negative comments. It might be that it's not like you cut this person out of your life completely. They're a family member. You don't want to do that. But maybe you set a boundary for yourself that you don't talk to them about those particular dreams and goals in your life. Maybe you find someone else in your family that you can share those to that is going to be more supportive. And that is a boundary that you set up for yourself, that you choose not to share something with a person. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't care about that person. It doesn't mean that you want to stop talking to that person, but it's a boundary that you set in place to better the relationship. So if every time that you talk to that person about your dreams and goals and they are negative about it, how does that make you feel towards them? What kind of thoughts are you thinking to affect your feelings towards that person? You're thinking that they don't care about you, that they don't support you, and if you can avoid having those thoughts at all by not talking to them about your dreams and goals, then your relationship is going to be bettered by you having that boundary in place. So maybe the next time that you talk to Aunt Millie or whoever it is, you don't share those specific dreams and goals. Maybe you talk about your kids. Maybe you talk about the weather, whatever it is. And those negative feelings and thoughts that you had aren't going to be there because you made a boundary for yourself for that relationship. If you have a friend who is always asking for advice and they are always needing help and they're calling you all the time, and once you give the advice, maybe they don't ever take it, it's okay to limit the amount of time that you talk to that person. It's okay to maybe not answer every time that they call. I had a situation like this where a girl she wanted me to be her mentor, but anytime that I shared advice to her or encouraged her, she always had something negative. She never wanted to take the advice. She never wanted to make a change in her life. She always I think she just really wanted someone to vent to and someone to agree with her. And that wasn't really the relationship that I had planned to have. That's not really the person that I am. And so I decided to slowly wean myself away from this relationship. Now, when I see her, we are friends, we talk to each other, but that relationship isn't so time consuming for me because I've chosen to step back a bit from that. Now, you might want to, in this time that you're stepping back, say, I'm really busy at this moment to talk about this, but how about we get together for coffee tomorrow morning and we can talk then? Or if you want to call me at this time, that would work. These are boundaries that you put in place for yourself that help you better the relationship. Because if they realize that they can't have 100% access to you, they are going to stop trying. They are going to not call you all the time, because I think some relationships, especially in that particular situation, if you have a friend like that, it's the constant access to you that they are actually wanting. It's not necessarily that they want your advice, but they want to be able to have someone that when they call, that person 100% of the time answers all the time. So as soon as you don't do that, that is going to almost fix the relationship itself, because they're going to back off and you're going to take a step back as well. The last thing that I want to share whenever you are creating these boundaries in your relationships is to do everything in love. We can choose to be kind always. You can always do things to be kind. You can say things in love, and you can choose to just avoid certain situations. Those boundaries are set up for you. It's not I'm not advising you to go to that friend and say, by the way, you don't have 100% access to me, and so the next time that you call me, unless you take my advice, I'm not going to answer you. That is not the kind of boundary that we want. We want to do everything in love. We are following in the footsteps of Christ, and he had boundaries set up in place in his relationships, and he did everything in love. And so we can do the same thing. We can be kind to people, we can be respectful to people, no matter what. And I want to be really clear here that you can be kind to people without trusting them or giving them 100% access to your life. So you can be kind to them and still have these boundaries in place. In fact, having these boundaries in place is a form of love and is going to better those relationships. Now, in the Thriving Mom Club, I do talk all about cultivating friendships. It's actually one of the 10 life categories that we discuss in all of these monthly lessons. I talk about finding the right friends, things to do once you have friends, qualities that you should look for in a friend. All of those are things that we discuss at length in the Thriving Mom Club. So make sure that you check it out. If you are really just struggling with the relationships that are in your life, this is definitely something that I would recommend for you. So make sure that you go to ashleyvarner.com/thrive, and that is going to take you to find out all about it, and I will see you in there. Talk to you next time.